Hello everyone and welcome to 2015. Whoopsie doodles. Crazy old one. Hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. We're back for January where I think I'm going to play throughout the whole of January a collection of different racing games of sorts so that we can get a little bit of more racing fun back on higher plane games. But it's going to be games that I particularly enjoy in different racing formats. So what better to kick it off with than the best cute racer of 2014. Cute racing was a bit lacking until we got right towards the very end, and Toybox Turbos from Codemasters brings them back quite literally to their old selves, essentially. Now I've got this on PS3 and Esther Ben bought me this for Steam, so thank you very much, Esther Ben. We're going to do a video of us together just talking CAC. But essentially, sorry, I'm just skipping on. You will have, let me just dive back. So you've got different cups that you can go through. You have to complete at least 1 star in each of these things. There's different types and we'll explain them as we go through. Classic is just a simple 3-lap race. There's your conditions and how many coins you'll get. And the coins, go through, you build up essentially so that you can start buying other equipment or cars as you go. And in general, actually, the way how it works is that you buy the next car up at the end of each race, and that's the car that is best suited for the following race to come. It doesn't always work out like that. Very simple. You've got your triggers to accelerate and brake. A on this or X on the PlayStation lets you go nuts. And it is very Micro Machine. I don't know why they didn't call it Micro Machine. I know the latest Micro Machine games that were in the PS2 era didn't particularly sell massively, but they were still very good games. So that mallet actually doesn't insta-kill. Which is why that particular object is really good. The AI being quite terrible actually on this track. What's going on? So a magnet pulls someone in front of you towards you. I'm collecting coins so that I can buy the next car essentially as we go around. Each coin worth 10 coins. And there's a shortcut that you see, which I didn't need because I wasn't racing anyone particularly there. So that gets me 3 stars, I believe. Yep, give me an achievement as well because it gave me a PSN trophy. Oh, one of those as well. So I move to Cake O'Clock, which is also a classic racing game, and I got exactly 4,500 things. So what I'm going to do, coins. So what I'm going to do is just purchase the New York taxi. That gives me another achievement for being a big spender. You can see better handling, less weight, so it's going to be a bit more frisky on the turns, but then probably this track will have more turns than the previous one, and that's why I generally recommend updating your car when you're going for the next course. So a shortcut through there and there as well, although I've been stuck behind that guy. So that's a gun. That's another thing, those Smarties move around. I do like these breadcrumb short track routes. You can normally spot them by their coin trails going on. These little multiple things, they come in very handy in the wave events, which I think we'll get to actually in a bit. Very quick, that one. So I don't believe I will get oh, it's achievement progress, okay. Right, so next up's time trial. This is just a very specific one. Oh, Esther Ben's already done a time on this, 56.9. No, I'm not going to go for the school bus, let's stick with the New York taxi. There's steak at hand. There's honour at stake, right? Could be steak. I'm down with steak. So the beauty, or the extra challenge of time trial, is that those red things are mines. And so I didn't chance at trying to go through the dish rack. Oh, and that's what happens when a mine hits. Or when you hit a mine. There we go, there's a dish rack. I think Esteban may have me. Or is he? Don't tell me I've out Toybox Turboed him. So, achievement. TikTok. Classic. Shame it doesn't show you the other people's times afterwards, but I'm sure we beat him. Sorry, Esteban. School bus. As you can see, it's more weighty, but it's got less handling, which means it's going to be a bit more sluggish. What that normally means is that it's quite a tight, twisty track, and you need to bash other cars out of the way, which is what the bus is good for. So I chose to go round the corner. Codemaster quirks that I love so much. Handling wise, yes, it's floaty, but it's not ridiculously floaty. Sometimes you get, the most criminal version of it was the F1 Race Stars game, where the game was so heavy that you couldn't get around corners because it wanted you to still brake. With this, you will have to brake on occasion, or just let off the accelerator once in a while. See, I could do the old cut and go through the marmalade. But it is still relatively rare that you have to do that. I could have broken the sugar cubes there a minute ago as well. Sugar cubes. Boink. For overtaking, you have to overtake as many vehicles out there as possible. Let's go for the London bus. Is it any different? No, it's exactly the same. It's just the London bus. I have to say this has been a refreshing change for Codemasters to actually inject some British personality into their games. Sorely missing. That's going to happen. Called the gas hob. Cover it up for everyone. Get caught on the sausage. Ah! Well, I beat 19. Sorry, Esteban. I can see him just going home being like, what the hell? So that's what overtake is. And the final one is always a... Well, actually, it's normally a you must beat a Sayer game. So you choose which one you feel more comfortable with. I'm going to stick with the London bus just because it's the most recent one, but it's always like the old Micro Machines head-to-head where you've got to get to the end of the screen, essentially. that's a turbo, which does help. Now, I do love this mode, but it is goddamn difficult. And this was what Micro Machines single multiplayer was always about. Was doing this. Now I quite loved the single player myself. But when you had the multi-tap, put the J cart with the 4 connections on, and then you shared controllers. So one was on one side, one controller, one on the other. I know, old school. I'm very old. Ah, those were the days. 8-player, local multiplayer. There we go. That's the first cup. So it does start out very, very serene and easy. Towards the end of this, we'll start into number 2 now, actually, just because. Yeah, let's go. We'll do a classic, and then we'll do the escape to finish, I think. So you can see the stakes have raised. You can't take any of your previous stuff with you. So if you haven't earned enough coins on the previous levels, you need to then go back to those levels and keep earning the coins to get something. That did happen to me. So you've got a 9,000 and 8,000. I don't know why that one's different, but we'll go for the 4x4 anyway. We'll select that one. So the further up the rank you go, the more things cost, the more you have to repeat a couple of races. I didn't have to do too much grinding, to be fair. It's wild. But you'll start to notice see already that they are a little bit more aggressive and angry, and they want to kill me. Feel like I'm scattering. You can also start to see that slipstreaming is bizarrely included. Always goes along. That's a mine that I'm dropping. Beware, obviously, if no one hits that, you can still hit your own mines next time round. More than once or twice. I'm sure everyone had those black, white, and yellow pens at school. Pencils at school. Otherwise we went straight over. Ah! So, don't have enough coins to buy the next thing, but I'll show you Escape, which I think is probably my least favourite. Oh, it's just short as well. It is my least favourite mode. Essentially, a wave is following you round the track. And you have to keep going for X amount of time, but it seems to fall away and catch up at you at really weird intervals. And there's certain points on the circuit where you're advised to cut quite heavily so that you can survive, essentially. And it'll always be relatively kind round to the first lap, just to kind of lure you into a little bit of false sense of security, and then it'll just eat into you straight afterwards. And the key to this is to not skid, essentially. I've worked out. And to just keep a forward momentum going, especially in the later ones. So this is going a lot better than almost ever has done for me. There aren't very many escape ones where I've actually got 3 stars on. Keep going! Keep going! Oh, pleased with self there. So that is Toybox Turbos in a nutshell. Is there any other modes? I don't know if there are. Doesn't matter anyway. If you go to the garage, you can customise things. So if I go for the hovercraft, since that's the most boringest one, you can change some of the colours. Signature. There we go. Thingy for that. So you can customise to a extent. Multiplayer, you can do local or online, and you are essentially limited to the get to the end of the screen eliminator mode. But that is Toybox Turbos, a really nice, no frills game. It doesn't exactly set my heart aflutter, but I've really enjoyed it, and it was still the best cutesy racing game of that type that came out last year. Not obviously a Mario Kart beta, but very good in its own right. So see you guys tomorrow for some more racing antics here on Higher Plane Games. Bye for now.